Good morning, welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 14th of June. So let's get cracking, looking at firstly the news events that are due out today. If I can bring that up, that'd be good. There we go. So news events today then, Wednesday the 14th. Where you gone? There we are. Actually, let's just do a refresh on this, get the rest of the data in there. So some very key data coming in before. Oh, you stay still. So inflation yesterday, US inflation, let's just look at what's happened here. Inflation dropping below expectation. So it came in at 4 rather than the 4.1, so it's down a tad more. So this takes the heat off of increases in interest rates for sure. Let's just have a quick check of where we are, if I can update this. Just update where we are. It's about 80%, 79%, somewhere in that region. Well, look, it's nearly 90%. I can't, for some reason, this is messing me around. There we go. Nearly 90% chance of no change of the rates today. So, well, that's looking ahead there. So that gives us a bit of a projection to the projections. Now, this is an important Fed meeting. It's one of the quarterly meetings where they do the economic projections. Now I have, and what they do is this dot plot. Now, whilst we won't see, maybe not see any increase in rates, the important thing is where they expect them to be. This is a bit more of a longer term view, so 23, 24, 25 on here. They normally do it month by month for the first 3 months, then they do the last quarter in, and they split it up a little bit different. Anyway, this is just to annualize, so 2023 they expect it to be closed somewhere around about where it is at the moment. There was some that still expecting it further, and this will be compared, and any differences, any large differences here will impact the market more than anything else. Even if they leave the rates still at the moment, this is the sort of data that can impact the markets. So there we go. So that's coming out now. That won't be out until 7 o'clock this evening. So we've got a day ahead of us. Potential chop. We've got some more inflation data coming out before then at 1:30. This might just be the nail in the coffin if there was needed any more nails for rates to be left alone on this occasion. But you never know, and any change here, any increase on this occasion would really move the markets. It would be quite a shock to the markets now. So looking then at the technicals for today, so we know we've got the fundamentals coming out. Looking at the technicals today, and well, the euro dollar starting with, yesterday it pitched over its pivot there. It pitched over earlier on. It broke through the prior highs there over its quarterly pivot. It's sitting on the hanging in there at the moment, hanging down there. But the overall picture here, it's given another higher low. There's potential yet that this could we could see break of this high here and give us another move back up towards yesterday's highs, and maybe the R1. It's a pretty decent target. So there is some scope for further upside here. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a choppy old day. We're seeing choppiness in a lot of the time frames. But yesterday, look, the pound also benefited from that weaker in US inflation there, and that took its effect. So consolidated around where it is at the moment, untouched daily pivot at the moment below. So any sort of sell-off back towards that could be the point of a buy opportunity, bearing in mind the trend that's running up there. We'll see what happens. The only thing is, it is sitting a little away from the absolute top. See, it's close, but a little way away, and it might just roll a little bit further. So be wary if you're looking at the long side of that point. US dollar yen. So the US dollar here, it's still managed to do okay against the yen, and it's broken out of the wedge pattern I had sitting in there. So it's broken out the wedge, came back, sort of done a little retrace, and it just shows you really the weakness of the yen at the moment. Just softened up quite a bit there yesterday. It had its initial reaction to the news there on the 1 o'clock bar, which was particularly suggesting obviously a softer US dollar, but the very next bar off it's pushed, and this suggests further weakness on the yen, which fits my analysis pretty well. My fundamental analysis, that is, of course. Aussie US dollar, well, we've topped out on these into these previous highs. Mentioned it, I think it was pretty much doing it yesterday. There's the quarterly pivot that sits there, and it's sort of run into that. Let's just come down the time frame there one more time, and well, it's a bit like yesterday really. We're just sort of looking to see if we get a break of the lows here, if it turns the corner. I've spent a lot of time looking, and we traded it previously, coming back to here, traded this previous move down, the third move down there, the fourth move. Well, it could of course break the fourth top here. It had taken out the bottom, but I'm still looking on the shorter side of this, but not really at the moment. Maybe, as I say, if it starts breaking down here, just got to really, I would like the news to be out the way. US dollar CAD, so again the dollar here, where it lost some ground yesterday against the CAD, and lower highs, lower lows here. The CAD sort of a little bounce kicking in there at the moment, isn't it? It's a bit mucky where it sits. Normally I'd say I'd take a short back into the pivot there. It's obviously already had some sort of reaction to its previous lows there, and it's not really reacted too much. By the time it gets back to the pivot, it'll put a higher low in, and well, structurally it could be changing now. I think you just need to be careful on this, because well, it could fool us either way, and that's what I'm aware of. I think any positions for me that I do take today, hopefully the inflation data, if I'm in them, will come in my favour, whichever way it is. And but shortly afterwards, I'd rather have them closed an hour or so before the data. New Zealand dollar, well, pushed on a little bit further into the 34, daily 34 through its 200. It is it's not particularly attractive market, quite messy. It has put it again. It got the benefit from the move, but it soon cleared back on that. But we'll see. Now this is back to its pivot. You would expect much more of a bounce off here. It's not really happening. And again, a bit like the Aussie, if it starts breaking down these previous lows, particularly this low here, well, then it's confirmed a lower high, and structurally I might be interested in that on the downside. Morning guys, sorry, just see you coming in there. Okay, Euro Yen. So Euro Yen yesterday managed to get a bit of a kicker on in the afternoon. Again, the Euro just sort of benefiting overall with the softer yen. It really picked things up later, but it's quite a mess as we look at it at the moment. What we're seeing, but maybe if it gets back into this pivot, let's just have a look, see if we can catch a bounce. Euro pound, just flicking through these quickly. Trend is still to the downside on this largely, 4 hourly, daily. It's a hard one to try and get into a trade on this at the moment in terms of where do you enter. I'm looking at, I've got a target sitting below there into the S1 potentially, but it's done a double divergence. I should imagine on lower time frames across these lows here, we'll have buyers coming in at this rate. A break above that 85.61 area would suggest we could be heading back towards its pivot there. Um, risky. Euro CAD. So a lot of these markets have gone. They already were ugly. I mean, on a daily basis, look at the overlap on this pairing, and it's, you know, last week it was range bound. It's got the hint of downside potential. We've just done this sort of double bottom here a short while ago. It's sort of it's bounced off that. Now a breakdown of that area again. Well, we've got a mixture of lows which may provide support back into its S1. Well, that's not going to give us a decent risk reward, but maybe if we're willing to sit and hold, could go further. Now, with pairs like this, you think with the Euro CAD, it's safe. It's the US putting out the news, but some currencies do better than others against when this news comes out. And depending on the way the news comes, you can get caught up in even the cross pairs on this. So I'll just be really careful. I was looking at the Aussie yen previously. That's just gone into a sideward chop. Yesterday it did manage to. It's just not really going anywhere either. So it is pushing up still, but I'm very wary with the news coming out later in terms of what will happen during the day. And my defense mechanism is saying stay out unless there's something really of a beauty of a setup, and it's one or two things I might look to take, but at the moment I'm going to be sitting on my hands. Now I know a lot of people think, well, you've got to be trading. Well, all you're doing is going in on higher risk. The markets are risky enough as they are, really. Looking then at gold, with gold still sitting in this range. To me, the way this range, just purely on a technical basis, a break of the lows there could see us running further south. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was to occur. Actually, I was just about to click on let's just do crude first. Just look at where the crude is yesterday. Well, it managed to bounce in the end yesterday. Another market that's really quite chopped up there. Obviously, at a weaker dollar could see the cash price on here push higher. So just bear that in mind. At the moment, I really don't like the shape of things. Talking of the shape of things, CSI 300 nicely back into its monthly pivot here and reacting, still sitting there bearish on this. I know it's done this sort of divergence and just pitched the end there, but overall I'm still sitting there on a bearish view, with a bearish view, maybe for some continuation. The Nikkei, crikey, it's charging ahead and massively bullish. At some stage we're going to see one hell of a correction, but for now it certainly should not be being sold. You just sort of come back to this. I think I might have covered it yesterday, but just in case, there'll be people trying to sell this market because it's rallying up, or I say try and sell. They'll be selling this market, and they'll constantly get stopped out. And when eventually it does move there, they'll probably snatch any early profits to try and recoup what they've lost on the way up. This is a market that shouldn't be shorted, in my opinion. I would only be looking at long side, and it's difficult to get in when it's pushed as it has. Nifty 50, another one. To me, it's bullish. It's slower than the Nikkei, but it's still pushing up there strong, and still in a very strong bullish trend. The Aussie 200 has been in a pretty bearish trend. Yesterday it managed to get back towards the upper part of its towards its trend line. I should really pop this trend line across here. It's a bit of a channel going on. I could copy this, pop it along the bottom there, but there is a bit of a channel going on there. Lower highs, lower lows to the downside. Reaction today, well, it's in this chop zone. I wouldn't really be looking to try and trade that market. The E-minis, S&P 500, again, it's gone bullish. It really is pushing up there. Yes, it's pitching off a bit today. big risk today with the news out later, but I think it's biased towards the upside with the potential. If things are left alone and the dot plot comes in a bit lame, I would expect the equity markets here to surge after that time. Vice versa, of course, as well sits there. Dow Jones, it's last few days it's been really pushing solidly up there, looking solid. Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, similar case, still pushing up there solidly. Bull markets all round here. The DAX has been a bit more of a funny old move. Yeah, I mean, yesterday it caught the bid side of things and pushing up there. Well, we've got the ECB meeting on Thursday. This could it's quite likely it's going to affect this one way or the other. So again, there's bigger risks sitting ahead on that. FTSE still not really doing too much. It's choked down here. We've got most of the major equity markets actually flying, and this is selling off here. So not looking particularly great. If we do see a sell-off of those other markets, I do wonder if this would just take even a bigger hit. It's the weakest of the bunch at the moment. Okay, switching across to the crypto world, Bitcoin. For those that are following, Bitcoin still looking choppy and horrible and weak. Lower high. I mean, this picture is all about lower highs, lower lows, and just really looking soft there. Ethereum, similar case here. It's consolidating around lows here at this stage. As I said, if things were particularly we were to see things change, particularly on the Fed meeting later, yep, we could see a bit of a rally, but nothing's looking particularly great here. Boom, boom, boom. Litecoins. So Litecoin's been outperforming the other markets, but certainly isn't at the moment, is it? It's soft. Ripple, that's down as well already this morning. A little spike yesterday, but only to sell back. And a lot of consolidation. They seem to have died largely, these crypto markets at the moment. Anyway, on that cheerful note, I wish you a great day's trading if you're going to be trading, but remember, cash is a good position to be in on days like this when, yep, you might get lucky and be on the right side of a trade. Equally, you might be losing, and not only just be losing a normal amount, but see a gap on the way to the downside, so tread carefully. Okay, wish you a great day. Bye for now.